and amplify.
Today we're going to be interviewing a Dogecoin kid, Lisa from Up Worldwide. And today we have the beautiful Miss from Crypto here tonight with us. Today we have Ken Bozak.
Foundation, Rarible, OpenSea, and Charged Particle.
Speaking from a Gen Z's perspective.
So why do these people buy this
collection? I work with an artist out of...
Wait till you see my city girl here to welcome you to this week's episode of Yummy NFTs. If you're new to our event, we host this show weekly on Tuesdays at 8:30. It's live streaming on YouTube, and you can watch past episodes on our YouTube channel if you search for Blockchain Universe and go under the videos tab. Thank you to those of you who come every week to meet our new NFT artists. Tonight, I have someone with me who is very well known around Altspace for her singing and is a member of the Four Horsemen with DJ Vad, Blank, and Juju. But what you might not know is that she is also a creator of an avatar NFT line called Looks by Casey. Thank you for joining us tonight, C.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background. Were you always involved in music and art?
So I've always been intrigued by art from a very young age, but I never really got to pursue that until much later. But yeah, so I do know how to play the piano. And in terms of singing, it's only just last year actually that I kind of, I guess, venture into this, profession or at least in this, aspect of art. But when it comes to art itself, like drawing, sketching, painting, and sculpting, I've done that, I guess you could say over the years for that. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get into virtual reality and how long have you been on Altspace?
So virtual reality in general, I got to use, I'm not really sure what the device is called, but it's like a full body kind of experience. This was back
like
in...
a haptic suit?
I think so, yeah. But it's not really, it's not that I could feel anything. It's more of like a suit that I can walk around with. So this was back in Malaysia. So anybody could go here, if they wanted to play games. So the game that I played was a zombie game. And I had to put on this suit. Yeah, so this suit, and then it was really warm. It was really warm. There was an engine at the back of my,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was kind of really heavy, and then I had not to say a gun, but a prop that looked like a gun, and then I had to wear the goggles, right? So I remember being in that situation because one of my friend, he's really into VR, and he was like, "Oh, I want you to play this game with me," So we actually played with 3 other people that we've never met at this place, and it was really fun. It was really immersive. And that was the first time I got into VR, but into Altspace, actually, it was only just January this year that I got into it and knew about it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little about your NFT line. This is very inspiring for female empowerment. And your promo point is that you're celebrating diversity. You're essentially creating something that resembles an avatar custom self-portrait, kind of. Can you tell us where this concept came from and your journey to get to it?
Okay, well, so before I dive into the story, I do have to thank my partner for this whole journey, to be honest, because, he's now not only my partner in this collection, but he's also a really good friend of mine. And yeah, he's actually the reason why I got into Altspace, because he was the one that introduced me to this whole platform. But yeah, so his name is Sam, and he goes by Sam Bell in here. And we met last year, and in our first conversation, he looked through my portfolio and said, you should totally drop an NFT collection. And I remember saying, what's that? Yeah, so I didn't really know what it was, but he told me what it was about, and he was really encouraging and supportive in this whole idea. He's also an NFT artist himself, so I really appreciated him, believing in my work. And a few months passed, I talked to him again, and I asked him, so if I were to start an NFT collection, what would I need to do? And that's when the partnership began. So Sam's really well versed in the blockchain, crypto, NFT space, and he's also a rock star in app and web development. So if you actually go through my website, he's actually the reason why it functions really, really well. So he's pretty much like in charge of the back end, behind the scenes, and all that. But yeah, so what really got me thinking about starting my own NFT collection was actually really through my personal experience, you know. So the other thing that Sam did mention to me before, you know, I started thinking about launching this was that, you know, he said that, you know, you're really good at what you do, but, you know, frankly speaking, because he's also a guy, right? Frankly speaking, he was saying that, you know, the NFT space is pretty male dominated right now, you know, and he was saying how that, you know, it would be really cool to get, you know, you into this space, not just because you're a woman, but also because, you know, of also your talent, right? And he was also saying that, you know, as artists, it's really hard for us to really get work, you know, in person in the real world, right? And he was saying that, you know, being in the NFT space, you know, gives artists ownership of what you do, you know, so you don't have to talk to like, so if you're, let's say you're a musician, you know, you don't have to talk to record labels, you know, you don't have to talk to third parties and all that kind of stuff. And he was saying how that, how you want to run your art collection is all like by you, and you should take ownership of that, right? So the fact that he was saying all this stuff to me, you know, empowered me as an artist myself, you know, and it was really nice because I mean, I don't know how it's like, you know, in other countries, but in Asia, it's the art scene is not that, you know, I guess you could say it's not very empowering, you know. If anything, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Asian stereotypes where we're always like, oh, you need to be either a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, and it's just those are the things that you need to pursue. But when it comes to art, it's like, you know, so another artist that's from the other side of the world, because he lives in New York, right? You know, telling me that, you know, you should totally like launch your own line, like it was really comforting, you know, and it really drove me, you know, like this guy really believes in me. I should probably believe in myself, you know. So it really, that's why like, you know, he's also a really good friend of mine because of that, because, you know, having support really, really matters, you know, and which
Absolutely.
it really does. Yeah. And he's also, you know, of a different like ethnicity as well. And, you know, I think being a minority, you know, there's just like known struggle, right, when it comes to that. So the fact that he, you know, believed in me, like it really, yeah, it really gave me the fuel to keep going, which is why like which is why diversity, you know, and inclusivity really is something as well that I've always like been, you know, a really big advocate for. But I think, you know, when this whole like journey and experience really like nailed that down for me. So yeah, so I guess regarding the collection, right? So it aims to shape, you know, the Web3 space to be a more diverse and inclusive one, which I mentioned, you know, diversity and inclusion are one of the values that I really hold dear to my heart, and, you know, being Asian as well. But yeah, the collection is entirely hand-drawn and generative, and the overarching theme behind the collection revolves around self-expression, you know, diversity, celebrating and bringing awareness, you know, to minorities as well as underrepresented groups, communities, and ethnicities. Yeah. I guess if I wanted to go to like the technical side of the collection, so for the first phase, you know, there are 500 pieces, and it's minted to Polygon. And the reason why we chose Polygon is for the fact that it's free from gas fees. You know, we don't want our look holders to spend so much on owning one, so we've made it, you know, as affordable as possible. Yeah, and again, for the first phase, there are 8 traits, you know, which includes hair, skin, accessories, you know, just to name a few. And in those types, there are 70 variations in total. So if you actually join our Discord, yeah. So if you join our Discord, you can see a roadmap that we've paid so far for this collection, and there are actually 4 phases in total, including phase 1, and they all have like unique names, and you know the names are pretty much sneak peeks to what is to come. Yeah, so I think that's all so far that I can share. Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody was to come to you and say, you know, I love your work. I love what you're doing. Do you ever custom do one, like I could send you a portrait and you would look at it and you would say, okay, I'm going to make one from this portrait of you? Or is it strictly, go on to my NFT collection and find one that looks similar to yourself if somebody was interested in owning a one that looked,
Hey, I'll be right back.
similar to themselves?
So far it's there. No one's actually asked me for a custom avatar, but yeah, so far it's just like the 500 pieces. Yeah, but if they
Nice.
wanted
So
to purchase, yeah, so if they wanted to purchase one, they would just go to the website. Yeah, and from there, you can connect your wallet, and I would suggest using MetaMask, just because it's just
okay.
safer in terms of like transferring monies and stuff. But yeah, and then you can purchase it there. If you actually join my Discord, I did make a tutorial video, outlining the process step by step. So if let's say you're not sure what to do in order to transfer like Polygon or all that kind of stuff, it's all there. Yeah.
Very helpful to educate people who come on, because this is new for a lot of people, this whole
Yes.
arena. I
Yeah.
did join your Discord. I did that earlier.
Okay,
So I will
thank
be
you.
checking that out. Of course.
Yeah.
And your website for everybody, the website you're referring to is looksbycasey.com.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
website.
And so let me ask you, do you have any sort of a vision for your work, and an avenue where you see it would be potentially useful in a project such as a game or perhaps an app profile token, something along those lines?
Yeah, so far, for the first phase, the goal is to get that sold out. So then the second and the third, the fourth will come into play, right? So right now it's just the theme. So for the second phase, it's more of like I think the second, if I'm not mistaken, is feminine film. So it's called feminine film. So basically, it's regarding like any female like characters that I've come across, that I would actually draw them and you would be able to own them. So and then the third phase is gals in games. So any like female characters that they're also going to be there as well. I mean, I'm still actually like slowly researching on them too, because I know it's quite of a niche there, right? But I do have a couple of pieces already ready, but I do plan to make more as more games develop and as more because I feel that especially for games and films, it really does connect people together, because like there's some like characters that I really do resonate with, and especially with the latest one. I'm not sure if you've watched Arcane. So it's a show that's made by basically League of Legends, and yeah, there's a couple of them in there, and it's just so amazing how like the lead is it's a female as well, and it's an amazing show if you've not watched it. But yeah, so some of those characters will be there as well, and then the fourth phase actually will be basically like me drawing what do you call it, like the girls in their national costumes, as well as their hair as well. But in terms of like what I want to do with it, I have reached out with a couple of organizations. So for the fourth phase, I'm still in like discussions with them regarding like nonprofits, which actually elevate, like especially like the Asian community. But it's not just that, just because I'm Asian doesn't mean like I'm only going to be doing it like, for Asians, but like I would love to be able to collaborate with, different organizations, to really get it out there, to pretty much essentially advocate for diversity and inclusivity.
It's important to connect with your community as well. I mean, and so if you can give back to what is surrounding you, I mean, that's very, that it's more heartfelt and poignant to you as well.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
So now you talked about the artwork. You said they're all hand drawn. So what programs are you using when you're putting these together to actually turn them into NFTs?
Oh, so I use Adobe Illustrator. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I use. And I guess in terms of the drawing device, I use a Wacom tablet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are things that anybody could have access to. So for people who are interested in getting into creating an NFT line, or even just creating an NFT, I mean, you can use the everyday programs like Illustrator that's very popular, and you can create stuff right in there and then convert it over to an NFT.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Now, you promote these a lot on social media like Twitter and Instagram, and they're all available on OpenSea. Do you have any other platforms besides OpenSea that you're using?
So far, no. That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you choose OpenSea because it is more widely used and it's easier for people to access?
Yeah. Yeah. Most people in the space know OpenSea a lot more than other places. So I thought, yeah. And I don't know. I feel like the word SEA, because it kind of also stands for like Southeast Asia for me personally, because I am from Southeast Asia. I thought like, oh, that's pretty fitting for
course.
me in terms of the name too.
Goes with your name, exactly. So if I feel the connection, you run with it. Are you currently creating any other style of artwork? Maybe not even just NFTs, but just in general. Is there other styles of artwork that you also dabble around in?
So before I launched this collection, I explored different styles. So if you actually, because I do have an Instagram for just like my work in general. And yeah, like I think even this whole collection, it was a bit of an exploration for me too, because I remember before I launched it a few months back, I was like thinking, like, what kind of style would I. So I remember even like talking to my partner about this actually. I was like thinking, oh, what do you think about this style? Or what do you think about this style? And he was like saying like, yeah, I think this one like is it kind of like matches your style. So I realized that the style that I have is very like minimal and clean, and he was like saying like, that is your style, so you should totally go for it, But I mean, of course, like if you want to venture into something different, like that's all for you. But he was like saying like, when I go through your work, like I could tell like this is by you. So he was like, all right. So I just went with it, really. Yeah.
It's your calling card.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
So, what do you see the future of you in your work within the metaverse? Not just in NFTs, but do you see there being any avenue in here for you to do something with your artwork, or do you have any future goals in the metaverse? With your singing or any of your other endeavors?
Yeah, so I was actually talking about this with my business partner the other day regarding this, because he knows that I'm actually venturing into singing as well, and I was pretty much like thinking, I know like singing because I do know there like song and NFTs, there are out there, and there are musicians getting into it, which is like so amazing because I'm like, yay, more people, more different types of art coming in the digital space. But yeah, I'm not really sure because like I was thinking, should I have like a collection that's like related to what I'm doing right now, or should it be like totally separate? Because I mean, I have been singing a lot, and I have been doing covers, right? And there are a couple people who were mentioning, yeah, maybe you can make that an NFT. But I think if I were to venture into that, it'd probably be a little bit different because especially the songs that we all know, like it is licensed under like different companies, right? So I probably have to look into that before I start making it in an NFT. But yeah, I guess if I were to venture into that, it'd probably be music. I'm not sure if I want to make it into an NFT yet, because if really right now I'm just starting out exploring what I like, and different types of avenues as well, and also immersing myself in actual music industries, right, and talking to people in there, because I am going to go to the States in 2 months. And I'm really excited about that. Yeah, and then so I have like met people online regarding this sort of stuff, and I do plan to just like see where it goes from there. But yeah, if I can bring it to the metaverse, then yeah, why not? I mean, I'm open to it. Yeah.
Where are you coming to in the States?
So I'll be in Philly, New York area. Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
yeah,
well, you come into the Northeast at a good time. We've had after we had the longest winter ever. We had 2 warm days.
That's
so
great.
good timing.
Yeah, so I'll be there. Yeah.
Have you ever considered within like your artwork is obviously very avatar affiliated, so have you ever considered actually thinking about creating avatars within the programs, like like VR chat or Altspace, actual avatar creation?
Oh, I've actually not thought about that, but Yeah, but that's really a good idea, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I guess if people are interested, I wouldn't mind yeah, considering that for sure.
Because I'm thinking, you look at these faces that you have. There's a few pictures up here around the room. You have 500 of them online to look at. I mean,
Mm,
some of those could be turned into avatars within another app or game. It would be interesting.
yeah, I mean, if you do purchase one, like you're really free to do whatever you want with it, because like, so if you want to put it into a mug, print it on your shirt, make it an avatar in any place, really, it's up to you. Yeah, I don't really have any restrictions regarding that, in terms of what you want to do with it, actually. Yeah.
Well, if people are interested in seeing your line, there would be Looks by Casey on
Hmm.
OpenSea. Also, your Instagram, which I follow, there's a lot of the artwork is up on there, and it's definitely like your friend was saying. You have a very unique style that when you see it, you definitely know it's your work, and it's definitely
Aw.
got a look.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah.
So we're also going to have a PoEP available for the first 20 people to claim. If you look over here on our wall, we show an image of it. And if you go onto our Instagram and DM us, we'll send you out tomorrow a copy of a link for the PoEP. And before we open up, the Q&A, I'd like to ask you all to take a moment to go in and rate our event. So if you just go on your menu at You Are Here, and you can click on 5 and give us a rating, and Blue will open up the raise hand feature down on your right hand side, and you can click that to ask questions to C. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Go ahead and click the raise hand button.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Nobody ever
Yeah.
wants to ask the first question.
Yeah, we have a
Okay.
question from DJ. Yeah, I love
Hi,
it when you say
DJ.
ask question. Everybody looks at me now. I always have a question. I'm really trying to learn, and it's great program and great questions. You already asked most of my questions anyway, but one of the things that I really wanted to, ask is what was the relationship between your work and Women's Day? That it was like a month ago, a couple of months ago.
Oh yeah. So my collection
I read
was
that on your
definitely.
website.
Yeah, it was launched during International Women's Day, which was on March 8th. Yeah. So my relationship with that, wow. So I'd say that, for most of my life, I really struggled, putting myself out there and just like doing things for me, personally. And it was I thought it was really fitting to launch it on that day because I think it was also kind of a breakthrough for me personally as well, to sort of like, to not just believe in my work and believe in me, but also to believe in the power of what women can bring into the table, not just in like the NFT space, but just in general, because and I think I've never really embraced that as much compared to when I actually launched the collection. I think because of just being around people who support you really do make a difference. I mean, yeah, like especially as artists as well, like the support from not just fans but just people who believe in your work and who appreciate what you do. Like I never knew the the impact in that. So I wanted to sort of like also pay homage to what everybody's been doing for International Women's Day, because I think this year in essence was about breaking the bias, right? Breaking the bias and yeah, and which I felt that was really really fitting to what the collection believes in, which is diversity, inclusivity, and it's not just like for women but just of all like genders. So I thought that was that I hope that answers your question, DJ.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for
Do you
doing
think
that.
you
I'm a
would
huge
ever-
believer. Yeah. Sorry, I was just
Thank
going to say that
you.
I'm a huge believer of, empowering women, and that's just a realm that
Oh.
nobody is like, really appreciating enough, and the talent, the potential there. So what you're doing is truly, truly amazing. Bravo.
Oh, thank you. I
I
appreciate
agree
that.
completely. Do you think that you would ever consider doing a similar line with men on your artwork, or are you going to keep it 100% female?
I mean, I have thought about making, I guess you could say, yeah, like making it either men or just genderless, like so, like kind of like Pokemon. You know, they don't really have genders. Well, I mean, maybe
Right.
they do in terms of their card and stuff, but I have thought about like making cute little creatures, perhaps like in the future. But I think right now, because of where everything's at, I think like I want to stick to the female identity at the moment, but maybe in the future it could go elsewhere. Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Here we have a
And I think-
question from Chris. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. You're fine.
Yep. Chris, go ahead. It's Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Chris,
Is he having?
you raised your hand.
I think you might have done it by accident.
Oh, okay.
Or is he having
Well,
mic problems?
Chris?
No? Or
Yeah.
or no? Okay. No worries.
Oh,
No,
there he goes.
no.
It happens. All space glitches. I think it's what you're doing. It, like I said, it's very inspiring, but I think it's also great to show, like you living in Southeast Asia and having such, like you were saying, very limited for females to go out there and just express themselves. There's expectations, but there's also, the culture is a little bit more closed to the females, being a success out there if it's not in the realm of a doctor or something along those lines. And I think that it is, you're very inspiring to other females to go out there, follow your dreams, take what it is that you want to do, whether it's artwork, music, anything. I've heard you sing, your very beautiful voice.
Oh,
And
thank
so
you.
I think that, you're inspiring to others who want to, sit there and say, you know what, I'm not going to go out there and become a doctor. I'm not going to go out there and become president of a company. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to follow my passion and my dream, and I'm going to see it through. And, I might have to do it simultaneously with another job until I get it to where it needs to be. But, your artwork is amazing. So, follow it, and who knows, you could get picked up by someone. This could be the next game, there could be something in the other end of this.
Oh wow! Well, thank you so much, City Girl. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, if I did, that'd be out of this world. Like I wouldn't even be able to imagine it, honestly. I mean, even this whole journey, to be honest, it's very surreal. Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't know how to react if that really happened. But I would be really grateful though. Like if anything, I have a lot of gratitude for it. Yeah.
Always keep your doors open, because you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said I am open to collaborations and open to discussions, and yeah, like if I can make an impact with my art, like that'd be amazing. I mean, I think I would have done my job, but like I would continue to keep doing that, because I do know, there are certain communities that do need, to be represented, or at least to be shown a bit more, and not just like in film, but even in music and art, and yeah, I would love to be part of that, part of that wave. So yeah, if anything I can do to make an impact, like I'm all for it for sure.
I think as your next collection comes out, and you get into the film and all of that, I mean, as you're promoting all these other forms of work out there, the same type of collection, but all these other faces, you could potentially see yourself coming up on the, women in the metaverse list coming up in the next year or so. That's something to consider. There are women out here who are making difference, and this could be on that level.
Oh yeah, well I hope so. I mean, if I can make things better, just by creating, yeah, like Yeah, that'd be really. That'd be humbling, but also to be part of a community who who strives to do the same thing. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
Of course.
really. Hmm.
Do we have any other questions?
Of course you do.
Yeah. I have a question from DJ. Go ahead, DJ.
Again. Yes.
Hi, DJ.
Full of, hello again. One question that I was actually first of all, a confession. C and I have been friend and with Blank and Juju and other guys, been hanging out, but I never knew what C stood for. So thank you for sharing that. It's pretty interesting. It's like Southeast Asia, of course. Well, who knew? But that was interesting. But wanted to ask you, generally speaking, not personally, what is the most challenging part of creating your own NFT line? What is it that you found like really? I guess it is kind of personal, but what is the most challenging side of it? And also, what is the most rewarding part?
Okay, well, that's a really,
Question.
really good question. So, because I'm in Southeast Asia, it's not exactly as like so NFTs, blockchain, and crypto is not exactly exposed, compared to places in the States or in near the western side of the world. But so when it comes to the challenge, I think my biggest challenge is actually getting the funds here. So I actually have to use, like, if I'm not mistaken, like a different wallet from a different person actually, that's not here, in order to. And I think trust is also a big thing as well, because it is money that's involved in this whole thing, right? So I don't have access actually to the funds, like not immediately anyway. So if I were to like actually cash out, I would have to do it. It's a whole process for sure. So it's
You
not
need
as
a third
accessible.
party.
Yeah, I would, and I do have that. So I even setting it up. So it wasn't just like the collection itself, drawing it, that took time, and there are also challenges there as well. But I think the biggest one was definitely that, setting up the wallet, setting up the funds, and making sure that it's there. And if I were to ever cash out like that, yeah, I would have to know the process to that. So accessibility to crypto is a big thing, especially in
Okay.
Asia. Yeah, so I do hope that changes in the future.
Didn't realize
Yeah.
there was limitations like that there.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, so that's a really good question. Thank you, DJ, for asking. And yeah, and I guess the most rewarding thing, oh man, I think it's just talking to people and building that community, and I know community has been used like a lot in this space, right? But for me personally, like, I've actually, so the people, most of them, at least in the Discord, I've actually talked to them. I know them. I've actually had like multiple conversations with them, and and it's really made up of people that I've actually connected with personally, and it's just, I think the rewarding part is really just talking to people, getting to know their stories, and having that connection, with people is personally, that's like I love that. I love like talking to people and getting to know them, and just, building that relationship where it really matters, because I think like that goes, not just ties into my collection, but personally as well. I feel like your relationships are everything, and this goes with business, your personal relationships, and when you have people that support you, that want the best, for you, and just want to see you thrive and shine, like, that's absolutely gold. And I think like because of that, like, it's just, yeah, that really powers me through, not just like to do my art, but even to sing, to just live, so I think that would be the most rewarding part for sure of this whole
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, within alt space there, it's such a community, and it's funny because, you when new people come into alt space, you hear them refer to it as a game, and you hear all who've been in alt space for a while say it is not a game, it's a community. You're
Yes.
you're playing a game as an avatar for about a minute until you realize that each person that you speak to in here is a person behind that avatar, and you start connecting with them the minute you have conversation, whether you're talking about something you have in common, or you're talking about, you know, an event that you just went to, whatever the conversation is, you realize pretty immediately, you know, that this is someone real on the other end that you're connecting with. And a lot of times you end up making great friends. And just like in real, not everyone that you connect with in alt space you're going to be friends with. There is going to be, you know, some diversity amongst that as well. You know, you're going to have some people that you connect with who are going to support you, and they're going to give you, you know, the hey, let me help you get to where you want to go, or let me just show up to be there for you, and I'll be someone that you can have as a sounding board. And you know, if you find enough of those people, they'll help you grow your dreams. They'll help you, you know, for a lot of people who are introverts, space gives them that platform to come out and to, you know, to speak and do the things that they want to. And that's one of the biggest blessings of alt space, is the fact that you meet people and you get to be who you really are. If that's what you want, you're allowed to express yourself in all these different ways. And that in and of itself is a gift in alt space, I think.
Yes, this is why I really love, you know, being in here. And you know, like as Vad mentioned earlier as well, like, you know, I've made a lot of really great friends here, and it's just amazing how like you can meet. I mean, I know like this is probably like, oh, but this what's new, right? But I think for us, like, I know millennials in general, like the fact that we grew up with like technology and the fact that it's growing so fast, you know, and the fact that you can talk to people real time, different time zone, it's a blessing. You know, people, you know, back like the old, like basically the generation before us couldn't even do that. Like they have to wait, you know, like write letters, and then we have to connect. There's a dial up. Oh my gosh, dial up. There's a lot of waiting and a lot of patience for sure, you know, that came from. And the fact that we can do this instantaneously is just, it's a blessing. So the fact that alt space is one of these platforms as well, it's just, yeah, like it's just so humbled to be, you know, part of this whole, this era really. Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because like about an hour and a half ago, I sent you a message checking in with you, and I was saying, you know, we're ready to go on tonight, and you're like, well, I just woke up. So right now there's a 12-hour difference between us, and you know, you're just getting ready to start your day. Our day's winding down, and here we are sitting on a talk show. Oh.
Right. Yeah, because no, it goes beyond boundaries for sure, and it's just really cool. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Well, I'd like to remind everyone that, you know, this is every Tuesday night, and next week we actually have Stolen Goods is on. He actually has pop-up VR shops that he puts around New Jersey. He goes around and sets them up, brings people into the metaverse. So he's going to come on and talk about that. He's got an NFT project as well. And so that's what we got lined up for next week. So if you'll all come back next week and hang out with us again, you can learn a little bit about that. And I'd really like to thank you for coming on tonight. See, it was great learning about your artwork and your goals. And I can't wait to see the rest of this. And then I really want to see your next cycle. That's going to be great.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. And also thank you for the questions and for your time as well. I do appreciate it. I really, really do. Yeah.
And thank you to all of you for coming out tonight. And those of you watching, we hope to see you again next week on Yummy NFTs. Thank you. If we can get everybody up on stage to do a group shot, that would be great.